I couldn't pay my mortgage because I had given him everything that I had. He's been doing this for 25 years.
We've all had bad dates, bad relationships, people that we never want to see again. But wait until you hear Jill Schardein story. She's one of the brave women who's come forward in the new Netflix series, Love Con Revenge, and it is enough to swear dating off forever.
Hi, Cecilia. My name is Jill Schardein. I met a man online. He was charming, handsome, a ladies' man, like the perfect man. I mean, really, it was almost too good to be true.
Let's just kind of take a step back and tell me a little bit about meeting him in the first place, meeting this guy that seemed to be like in your dreams.
That my too good to be true,
You were
right?
too good to be true. Yeah.
Literally, he was my very first online date. I've had a total of 3. He was my first. I met him on Facebook dating, and it had been a while since I dated, and he was just, I searched online. I did all the things that I thought, to protect myself, to make sure, hey, this guy's legitimate. And, his post of his wellness center, he seemed like he was just an upstanding, wonderful person. And then when I met him in person, oh my gosh, again, he was just fun and full of life in the moment. When I look back and think of, the things that he said to me then, even, he asked how many dates I had been on in a certain amount of time, which mine was 0 and his was like maybe 25, but again, the red flags were there, but everything just flowed, and it was again, I hate to keep saying that it was too good to be true, but it really was. It really truly was.
Yeah, the red flags, like, I mean, that was the part that just blew me away at the beginning of your story, was when you were talking about how you Googled him.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the Googles came up pretty impressive. I mean, he looked important. He looked
He's got
successful.
30,000 followers on LinkedIn. I mean, and he brings that up. That was, again, I'm pretty sure he brought that up on the first date. But I mean, anyone that's on LinkedIn, that's an impressive amount of followers for just the average person on any social media platform, but especially on LinkedIn. So to
Mhm.
me, that is just another thing that, he's a legitimate businessman, right? I mean, and still, today, I think that still confuses people, because how do you have that many followers on LinkedIn, which is, a business platform, a professional platform? It's not Facebook or I mean, so there were just so many things that again made me think, oh, he is an upstanding, great person.
It speaks to, like, how we trust the social media that we're looking at, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think about, like, my daughter going on social media, and we only see, like, all we talk about this all the time, in my house, like, you only see, like, the beautiful pictures, yet that's what you were seeing, were all the beautiful pictures and all the rainbows and pots of gold.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I saw. Although my sister and some of my friends that were with me through the beginning, they could see it, they could smell it, from day one, literally from day one. And I
Mm.
just fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Which, it's a numbers game for him. It's a numbers game for these guys. It's just, it's like a sales job, but it's with people's lives.
Was it like the man or the charisma that you saw? Like, when you saw him, and he sort of took up a lot of room, was it him, or was it the persona? Just, yeah, I guess maybe to give some insights for other people that may be watching this wondering, who am I actually seeing?
Yeah, it was definitely the charisma, and the persona. I mean, he walks into a room and doesn't he's and I guess this is the narcissistic side, but again, I didn't really understand much about narcissism until I met him either. So I learned a lot about that as well. But walking into any place, anywhere, anytime, and it was all he thought about was Todd Dean. And that's still what he does today. So, that it was just the spotlight always seemed to shine on him, but that's the way that's just the way that he comes across. I'm talking Home Depot, a restaurant, it doesn't matter, the gas station. I mean, he walks in like he owns the place. And that was pretty cool. I thought it was interesting.
Well, and when you're also in a very vulnerable place, right? You were just starting to date. Who were you looking for?
I honestly didn't know. And some friends that I worked with had told me about Facebook dating. And so I went ahead and got on there, and I really don't know what I was looking for. I didn't think I was looking for a relationship, but what else do we look for, especially at 50 something years old? But he just checked off every single box. I mean, he was tall, he was cute, he was professional, he was funny. I mean, again, have I said too good to be true?
Is he too good to be true? So how did the money part, like, how did that start sneaking its way into your relationship?
Truthfully, it started pretty soon, and pretty early on in our conversations, because I can remember I would be on my phone and he would say, are you on your bank app? Or, and of course, which was odd again. And then he would make comments that his bank account was usually negative. I mean, and his credit score was bad. I mean, I think he starts throwing bait early on to see, okay, is this person going to, is she going to take the bait and
Right.
act normal? Because truly, anything that he commented or made comments about money is not something, especially that early on in a relationship, that normally someone would discuss. And I think that's all part of his method.
Mm.
He starts with, okay, is she going to continue to follow along? Because then I know, how deep and how much I can pursue and what I could ask for. And again, he's mastered this. I mean, from so many people that I've talked to, and also even with the amounts of money that he asks for, he starts low. And and if he thinks that he could get 10,000 from one person, or 100,000, so he knows he's going to ask for whatever he thinks you might be able to give. So I mean, he started off with 1,000 with me, which again was, I think, probably within the first month or 2 months into the relationship. And it was for travel to do. I forgot where he even went, but I was like, of course, absolutely. And again, I think that's just how he starts. It's just his method of, okay, well then, so I know she's going to do this, so then I can keep asking for more and more and more, because I heard him ask men and women for money. So it's not that he's opposed to asking men. It's just easier for him to take advantage of females. It really is.
Just when you said that, it made my stomach jump just to think like that. So much you've learned in this. One thing I learned when I was watching, I never heard of what love bombing was.
Oh yeah, I didn't either.
Can you tell us what you learned about that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's the good morning, the good night, the good afternoon, the good, hi, how's your brunch? I mean, so I have never been I have never had that many texts with anyone. And then of course his, the selfie scammer, his selfies on top of it.
Mhm.
I mean, which made it even, it just solidified the love bombing, because I mean, he would send video messages of just step by step of what he was doing every day. I mean, if he, every single thing that he was doing, but he was also sending these same videos to multiple women, which, I didn't know until later. so again, he's got not just me on the hook, but he probably had 10 to 15 other women that he was sending the same pictures and videos to. And that's since,
Oh.
yes, oh yes, since this is aired, I've had several women that have reached out to me, and they've received the same exact photo or the same exact video with just a tweak here and a tweak there. But it's the constant communication, as that, and I mean, it really never stopped until the very end when I sent him an email and said, please don't contact me anymore. This will be considered harassment. And he did not contact me again after that.
And you talk about in the show how you kept on, you would give them small amounts, and those amounts would get you in deeper, basically.
Yeah.
There's this feeling that you just couldn't get back out because you had already kind of committed so much. How did you see that all going down? And at that time,
Let me tell you, and this is how I felt at the time. And again, it's embarrassing, but it's I think it's helpful because I know that there's other people out there that probably feel the same way. But truly, it got to the point that I felt like if I didn't continue to give him, then he was going to walk away. I was never going to see any of my money again. I was never going to see him again. And so I would continue, I mean, on and on. I mean, I don't know. I think there was even a time that, I couldn't pay my mortgage because I had given him everything that I had. So I went to my sister and asked her if I could borrow money. I sold her my Rolex. I had two nice watches. I sold those to her so I could pay my mortgage. He had enough nerve. He sent me a video asking me for any leftover money from the watches. And, and I gave it to him. So it's just mind games. And I was afraid, number one, if I didn't, then I wouldn't see any of it. And number two, no matter, how pathetic it might sound, it was because I was afraid, okay, then it's, if I don't give it to him, then we're done. We're completely done and it's all over. And that's really what was going on with me.
It's heartbreaking because it feels like anyone that was so vulnerable, feeling that this was an opportunity for love and for happiness, companionship, to take advantage of that.
Right.
Uh, what happened when you found out that you were not the only woman that had gone through this? How did you find that out?
Well, I found it out through actually his assistant, Sheena, and she actually told me, she said, Jill, I wish I would have known you were going to give him the money. I would have told you not to. And she actually shared with me about some other women that were at, the exact same time and had given more money than I had. But I still hung on even after that. I still hung on.
Oh, so you found out about the other women, yet you were like, "This is from the past?"
I found out about a couple other women that had given him money during the same time that I had, and we became very good friends. And actually, and I don't want to say her name. She doesn't want me to share her name, but she and I actually are still good friends to this day. She stopped. She walked away, and I continued to communicate with him and still. And still give him small amounts of money here and there. So it still took me probably another, let's see, 5 months before I finally stepped away for good. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It's it's mind blowing when I look back today at the push and pull and the push and the pull and what I was willing to do.
What made you finally step away from that?
To that I think I finally honestly was strong enough, and I had support
Mm.
of some really good friends, and I actually listened and looked at it, and and it was about a month after I had sold the watches, and so I finally got strong enough to realize what a total dirt bag that he truly is, and could see, and was disgusted when I could hear his voice, was disgusted when I would go back and read the text messages. So I finally just took the blinders off and realized what a mess that I had been in for almost a year. And it's I mean, again, still to this day, it's just like when I watch the videos that that he sent me, asking me for money, asking me for $25 for poker, that is not normal. I mean,
Right.
it's just not. What
It,
the
it,
hell? I mean,
what the hell is right? Like it's so amazing how we can go through life, and I'm saying for me too, like I think we've all been there. And that's what is so universal about this story, is that at some point we've drunk the Kool-Aid or put on the rose-colored glasses, or however you want to say it. Like, I feel like we've all been there in different parts of our life when we felt vulnerable, or even when we felt really strong and we just didn't see it coming.
and I mean, I asked myself, did I really want love that bad? I mean, was that what it was? I don't know the answer to that, but it's, again, today I am 1000% happy. I'm single. I'm happy with that. I'm not jaded against men because of him at all, but I've got a backbone and I'm so much stronger. So, regardless, I went through a situation that, that's been a big ordeal, but
Mhm.
at the other end of it, I'm stronger than I ever have been. It just took me a lot longer to get there than I would have expected to.
When did you decide, or how did you decide that you needed to share this story?
Well, there's a site on Facebook called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" Nashville. I'm sure you've heard about those groups. And actually, someone had posted Todd on there, and the girl that had also given him money reached out to me, and she was like, "You've got to join this group." So I did, and there were almost 1,000 comments regarding him, and I kept sharing pictures, ridiculous. I actually got removed from the group because they said I was bullying Todd because I was sharing pictures, and people were making. But anyway,
Oh my god. Bullying Todd?
I was bullying Todd. I got removed from the group. But that's how it works. That's how, when you're dealing with people like that it works. He had a flying monkey in the group that reported me, and anyway, so I'm no longer on the group. But that's what got me to really sharing so much, and I guess realizing, hey, it was entertainment for sure, but there were so many people that had actually had interactions, or had you met him, and had similar situations just on that group alone. And then Amber and Athena reached out to me from seeing me on that group about sharing on the podcast, and then it went from there to Channel 4 News. And so it's just we kept sharing and kept sharing. And today, if you Google Todd Dean, if you happen to meet him on Facebook dating, you're not going to see what I saw when I first went on a date with him. So the exposure has been, there's no way that what happened to me when I met him can happen to anyone else again. So for that alone, it's, to me, that's a win, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when I was Googling his name, because of course I had to, as soon as I heard his name, it was just so shocking. It said it immediately came up as a selfie scammer. Like
Yes.
that was the first thing. It's like selfie scammer, Todd. Um, how did it make you feel though when you realized that there were other women out there that had basically gone through exactly what you were going through?
With Todd, or you mean just?
I think first with Todd, I mean, first finding out that there were other women, was it, were you mad at Todd? Were you mad at the women? Were you mad at yourself? Like who how did you sort of like, how were you processing all that?
It actually validated my feelings, and it really, really helped the, of me feeling, and I hate to keep saying the word pathetic, but it, the I was feeling really low because I felt like I can't believe that I have fallen for something, for someone like this. So it validated my feelings, and realizing there were so many other women out there just that had been scammed or manipulated by him. So it, again, that's kind of another step in my process that made me feel stronger and able to start helping. I mean, I got to the point that I was reaching out, or they were reaching out to me, and I was helping other women who had been involved with Todd through, different, either money or whatever the situation was. So, and I mean, I have a spreadsheet of, oh my gosh, 75 women that have had some communication with Todd Dean, whether it's money or just the ridiculous selfies and video, I mean, it's crazy because he's been doing this for 25 years. Then move forward to just other women that have now reached out to me that have been in a similar situation. I mean, it's really been therapeutic for me. I mean, I'm in therapy, and I actually had scheduled, as soon as LoveCon Revenge aired, I had a therapy session the next week, just in case, let's prepare
Absolutely.
in case that, things go south. And I went in there, and she said, Jill, I have not seen you this positive and happy since you have been with me. I mean, so, so if that tells you the positive impact that it's had, I mean, that alone is huge.
And you look amazing. I mean, you
Thank
look
you.
great. And, I noticed that I noticed that even when I was watching the show, the evolution of how you were kind of going through it, and how because it's such an intimate portrait that you allow us in to, like, sort of experience sort of these emotions. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and I have had people from Italy, Norway, Australia, Canada, Paris, all over the United States, reach out to me since it's aired, and it's been in all supportive. I've had I've had a few comments here and there that haven't been, but probably 96-7% has been supportive. I mean, to me, I mean, I wasn't expecting that much, but I mean, it's been an amazing experience. It really truly has. It really has. Just to, to share and just be vulnerable, not realizing how many other people would appreciate it.
I think it's so universal, like I said, that I think everybody can appreciate different aspects of it as well. Um, the when women do come to you and say, "I've been hit like this," or "I feel like I might have been hit like this, and I'm not quite sure, and I'm still trying to figure it out." What do you say to them?
I just ask as many questions as I can. I ask about the person that they were with, just for them to tell me the story, show me. I want to check him out on social media, just anything. And really, they just want to be heard, and they just want to share their story with someone that they know is not going to judge them, that understands them and can relate, because it's, when you've got a relatable experience, it just helps to share. Because if I'm trying to share my story with someone who has no idea, it has never been there, it's they just can't relate, and it's hard to explain. So I mean, it's comforting for them. And I mean, I love, I mean, I'm in sales, so I love helping people too, right? So I mean, if I can help somebody, then I'm absolutely going to do it. I mean, I've had phone calls with people, and so many messages on social media, asking what they think that they should do, or, any suggestions. And, some I've been able to give suggestions, and some, honestly, I haven't really known what to say.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and some have been very similar to mine, and some have been way worse. But I'm just glad that they felt comfortable to come to me.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that they do have you to come to. It's lonely out there sometimes.
Yes, yes. And having support from others is kind of what got me to start opening up again, just even someone that, again, that I didn't understand about narcissism, and she was telling me, Todd's a narcissist. And then so I start delving into that, and learning more. And so it's just a process. So I think that we all learn together, and um and help each other.
Where is he now? Like, where is he right now? Is he still in your town?
So I live in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is about an hour north of
Mhm.
Nashville. He still lives in Nashville. Listen, I received 2 days ago where he's posting on his YouTube in Nashville self-help videos. I mean, he's still at it. He's still walking the streets, playing poker, living off of Kit. She's supporting him because no one else will. Nothing has changed for him. I mean, he he feels like he's the victim, and that we are the crazy ones. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
yes, yes, yes. At one point, when some of the Channel 4 news segments aired, he would go into poker and offer his autograph. I mean, that's the type of psychopath, sociopath. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's a little more than narcissism. And I'm not an expert.
Just giving your opinion.
That is my opinion. There's something going on there that just doesn't register on all cylinders, which makes it a little scary. I mean, because what is he capable of if he gets pushed into a corner? I don't know.
It's crazy. What does justice look like for you in this case? Are you going to get there?
I did meet with the DA in Nashville after we filmed the show, and they basically there's nothing that they said that they could do. They realized that he will continue to do this if he can, but they just told me that there was nothing they could do. And then the state of Tennessee honored his bankruptcy, and he listed he listed Todd Dean in one of his cases, and then Sanjara Wellness in the other. In his Todd Dean case, which this is all public record, you can Google it on pacer.com, he lists 35 women. I mean, he lists us all. He
Mhm.
lists us, and the personal loans, and he was awarded the bankruptcy. So I definitely won't get my money back. I know that. But I also am pretty sure he probably regrets taking my money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely had a megaphone on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a little sweet success in just knowing that he he might not regret taking everybody's money, but I'm pretty damn sure he regrets that he took mine.
Well, I know. I keep on thinking like if you're sitting at a bar and this man walks up and is sitting next to you and he introduces himself as Todd Dean, I mean, first reaction, like whip around and run the other way.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, I can't stand to hear his voice. It's and I wish that it didn't bother me, but it disgusts me. Which is another thing that I go back, and I'm like, how did I listen to that voice? How did I think that voice was okay? So no, if I saw him, I absolutely would not speak to him.
The other way, the other way.
Kick him out, please.
Man, I think there's a lot other women can learn, and men, not just women, men, romance frauds and schemes and scams. they go all over the world, don't they? And they hit every single pocket. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is.
No, no.
And it's so tough, but it's to hear your story and how you come out the other end and stronger and wiser
Yeah.
and more aware. It's a great lesson for all of us. And it's also, I think, a really good lesson to think about social media and the role it plays in our lives too. It certainly made me think to once again question everything you see in a whole nother way. But my final, I mean, you can't give up on love. Like, tell us, Jill's still looking for love out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it whatsoever. I'm just a little more critical in what I'm thinking. It's, I
Mhm.
mean, I can spot it much quicker and I'm out the door. So I'm just a little wiser now.
Good. Well, I hope that you find someone equally as fabulous as you are. So, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. The conversation is so interesting, and I certainly learned something today from you.
Thanks.
So, thank you so much, Jill, and good luck with everything in the future. Jill's gonna find love again. I'm sure of it. But that lucky guy better be ready for all of us armchair detectives. We're gonna be watching his every move. We've got your back, Jill. Now, have you ever felt that you were conned by someone that you thought you loved? Tell me about it in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and stay criminally obsessed.